job before last, the admins did all the catering, and it was like that. You know, you had to feed like 250 people, and it was like full course. I mean, even sandwiches to feed 250 people is insanely expensive. Forget like ribs and stuff, and they did ribs sometimes too and stuff. I mean, it had to have cost just thousands and thousands of dollars just to cater a lunch.
Yeah.
But you're asking employees. Management would have never asked people to do that. They did it for fun sometimes, just to screw around. Or they did it for like Culture Day, which was only once a year. And they did that more like cultural pride and education, just to improve communication, since, you know, the way to people's usually with food, which is fine. But like, it was never mandatory. I mean, you'd go broke.
Well, I mean, we don't have to do it. Like, they want you to sign up. Like, it's the whole encouragement to participate and stuff.
But I'm sure if it's anything like my last job, I was getting...
But you kind of, there is that level of, like, guilt about it, too.
Peer
like,
pressure, too.
Well, you see everything everybody else doing, and you're like, crap. And it's like, I couldn't even bother to, like, get napkins. Like even then, like, if you have $2, like, you can bring, you know, a couple hundred napkins kind of deal. Like, yeah, it's, I don't know, just kind of... Because one of the guys hasn't brought, I don't think he's brought anything yet.
Yeah.
But I think he's like 19, which I'm like, yeah, like, I get it.
Bring some corn dogs.
Yeah.
Well, what I was going to say is I think the week that I got let go at my last job, the manager had sent out this nasty email to the whole department saying that essentially these non-mandatory voluntary events have all apparently been unofficially mandatory, but the peer pressure kind of mandatory, not, you know, the guilt trip kind of mandatory, not the we're actually going to make this mandatory. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I never knew this. Nobody ever told me. Because all the events that I'd gone to, like, one person showed up besides the manager. And so I'm like, I'm never fucking coming to another one of these. Why should I? And nobody else comes to them. So, whatever.
Is there a way to take off the images off the game? With, like, how it has the who's ever's invent drop-down thing?
Yeah. I don't know where it is, though. But yeah, there it is, because I don't have it.
Okay. Well, I didn't have it before, which is weird.
Oh, well, it also depends on in what order you start up.
So if I do, like, Mumble first and then the game?
Yes.
Because that's how I've been doing it.
And that's usually what I do, too.
Because I had them last night, too, in Borderlands.
Yeah.
So do you have to start the game first and then launch Mumble?
No, I do Mumble first and then I launch the game.
Yeah.
But I think there's another way of shutting it off.
Let's see. Oh, there we go.
Wow, good job. You passed it to the other team, sir.
Let's see.
Congratulations.
Nope, still there.
Way to go, Rain.
I shouldn't have to. I don't want to relaunch the damn client.
No. Let me see.
No, because I went to settings. There's overlay, which I disabled it.
Users about no. I also have application always on top never under user interface. I wonder if that's...
Yeah, mine's at never as well.
Okay, so that's not it. I'm sure there's a way to turn that off entirely because I haven't had it on in ages. But I need to go look for it.
Okay, let's see. That's not working. Okay.
Okay, so
Oh, it's gonna reset itself or not. It may not.
did you try to go to overlay?
Oh, there we go. Well, I was able to move them in the thing, but now they're just kind of like tiny little bars in my screen. So it's like you go into the you go into configure settings, overlay, and then the layout is on the bottom. So I've disabled, I don't have it checked as enable the overlay, but it's still there for some reason.
Weird.
Yeah. But I do have it as super tiny, so
Okay.
maybe it won't bother me now.
Hope so. That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so when I got that email, I remember I was just like very disgusted. It was one of the nastiest emails I'd ever read. It said, when you've done a good job and we want to honor you for the work you've done, have the common courtesy to show up to the management sponsored events that are being held in your honor or something like that. I was like, wow, that's, you sent that to everybody in the department. That's the most passive aggressive Facebook bullshit. I was like, I never want to be around people that would say something. What a horrible thing to say. And to even be so honest and brazen about it, but still so passive aggressive at the same time. It's just like, how are they allowed to say that? But usually it's just a lot more passive aggressive, or not passive aggressive, but it's a lot more like on the down low, like the.
Yeah, like they would say it amongst themselves, but not actually email everybody about it.
Right. So at least, because some people don't have the money, or some people can't cook, or some people don't like to cook, or what if they don't have a stove? I mean, it sounds stupid, but it's like...
Well, like, with me, depending on who it is, and the people, there's some people like, I don't want to eat your food.
Totally.
And
now you're, like, going to be obligated to, sort of. At least that's the way I felt. Because I remember, and this is going way back, I believe it was the 4th grade, I think was when we had our first cultural diversity food thing. And you were expected to eat one of everything unless you had a note. Or you were going to get docked points or some crap. This is a really old-ass memory. And one of the things that some kid was bringing was friggin' clams. And it's got nothing to do with religion. Clams just like... I've seen so much bad stuff about the little flesh-eating frickin' viruses that people get. Like, even as a kid. I was like, wow. I would never want to eat a clam except as an absolutely last resort. And here I am, like, I think it was the 4th grade. And they're telling us that we're going to have to eat clams. And they even made a special thing. They're like, someone's going to be bringing clams. And I remember saying, like, are we going to have to eat these, you know? And they said, I think it was a teacher bringing them in, maybe? And he was talking about how they're going to be fine and cooked and nothing to worry about, and they're going to be fresh and everything. And I was just like, can you guarantee? I was like, can you guarantee that I'm going to be okay eating this? And he's like, well, no, of course not. I'm like, fuck you then.
Yeah.
Like,
no. And I mean, you know, it's all like a politeness thing. Someone's offering you food, you're supposed to eat it. But there's some things like I'm just not. Because like I think around the Thanksgiving one lady, she didn't have time, so she brought